All right, I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. Let's track the tropics and see if we have anything to worry about. Of course, we still have a tropical storm out there, but more importantly, we are exactly 2 weeks away from the peak of hurricane season. So we actually have about 75 to 77% of our activity remaining likely for this season between now and November 30th. So even though we're not really eyeing anything coming close to H-Town at this point, there's still opportunities throughout the end of this month, September, October, and even into November. We still can't rule it out. So that means we need to stay alert. Don't let your guard down. Even when we go through these lulls or quiet periods in hurricane season, keep in mind that things can pop up quickly. Notice that huge spike in the number of named storms and hurricanes right around the September 10th time frame. So September, our busiest month typically for our hurricane season. The first 2 weeks of October usually remain fairly active, and then we usually gradually see things kind of winding down as we roll through late October and November. So far this season, we've had 6 named storms from Andrea to Barry to Chantal, all the way down to Saharan and Fernand, which we currently still have. Out of those tropical storms, only one blew up to a hurricane, and of course that was Saharan, which was a major Category 5 hurricane at one point. So we're left with Fernand right now and still waiting to see if we will get Gabrielle to develop over the next week or so. So far for this season, as I said, 6 named storms, 1 hurricane, 1 major hurricane. Colorado State University, as of July, predicting 16 named storms, out of those 8 becoming hurricanes and 3 major hurricanes. So we've got a ways to go before we get to those numbers. Average season would put out about 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. So we are not getting close to those numbers yet, but like I said, we've still got a lot of action potentially to get through for the rest of the season. Right now, we are still closely monitoring Tropical Storm Fernand. It decided to kind of pulse up a little bit on us today. It was fairly weak. 40, 45 mile per hour winds. It now has jumped up to 50 mile per hour winds, but just notice the structure. It's looking fairly weak, fairly ragged out there in the central Atlantic. And I think by tomorrow, it likely loses its tropical characteristics. And by Friday, it's completely gone. So it is going to fall apart quickly. Notice it's tracking east-northeast fairly quickly at 15 miles per hour away from the U.S. Currently 50 mile per hour winds and pressure at 1,006 millibars. So guess what? We don't have to worry at all about Fernand impacting any land area and certainly not coming anywhere close to the U.S. All right, Saharan dust was pretty thick for the first few months of our hurricane season, but over the last few weeks we've noticed more breaks in that thicker dust, which would be indicated by the dark brown, and notice a lot of blue ocean water showing up there because that dust continues to remain on the thinner side as we go through the next week. So that will mean more opportunities for those tropical waves that roll off of the west coast of Africa to maybe survive that trip across the Atlantic and maybe get into the Caribbean and potentially into the Gulf. If that were to happen, there would certainly still be plenty of warm water to fuel these systems. We've got temps out there in the Gulf, middle to upper 80s, and temps in the middle 80s for the western Atlantic. Caribbean Sea, pretty steamy as well. So we certainly have the fuel for these tropical systems, so we will have to keep a close eye on things. But as of now, once Fernand falls apart tomorrow, that's it. We don't have to worry about anything blowing up on us at least the next few days. However, let's hop over to the Eastern Pacific because I've been talking about, of course, the Atlantic basin. But in the Eastern Pacific, we do still have Tropical Storm Juliet. Could briefly become a hurricane, but likely not going to happen. It is in that weakening period where it is likely going to dissipate as we go into this weekend, and it should stay to the west of Cabo. So speaking of Cabo, still the chance for a few showers and storms here over the next few days. Temps in the middle to upper 80s. No tropical activity though impacting you. Cruise forecast as we go into this weekend for Jamaica, Ocho Rios. Definitely could be some spotty to scattered downpours on Friday, maybe a few more into Saturday. Temps near 90, but nothing tropical headed to Jamaica as of now, so that's good. And finally, we've got Nassau, Bahamas. If you're cruising there this weekend, it is a holiday weekend, perfect time for a cruise. Of course, going right around the peak of hurricane season, you're kind of taking a risk, a gamble, but if you're cruising this weekend near the Bahamas area, it looks like it should be maybe a little stormy at times, but no tropical storms or hurricanes to worry about. So looking good in the tropics for now. We'll be right back with more Texas Live and Local after the break.